I wanted to talk about the M64.
Oh, yeah. Our favorite weapons dealer.
Lucky Problematic.
Lucky Problematic himself.
It feels like ever since Trump, specifically Trump, it has given license to the whole world to be like, go ahead, be unlikable. You're like, what do you mean be unlikable? Grow a mullet, put on a Hawaiian shirt, make weapons.
Yeah, it feels like this man, like, just looking at him, like, spontaneously generated off of the floor of a frat house and just showed up.
Yeah, Lucky Palmer, he's the CEO or founder of Oculus, right? So he doesn't just make the Game Boy and missile systems that target various parts of the world. That's why, obviously, he's got a huge contingent online who hate him because of these missile systems that are sold for wartime and stuff. We're just focused on the video games, folks. That's all we're talking about today. You can go to Reddit or Twitter if you'd like to discuss other topics. Okay, so do you remember when Analog came out with the Analog 3D?
Yes.
There's already an HDMI N64.
I think it's got mixed reviews, if I remember correctly. I didn't look too far into it.
Well, first of all, it didn't do like sharp polygons, and then the EverDrive was not supported.
Right. Yeah. Or they had to put out a new firmware for the EverDrive for it to work. There was something.
But they did release that sick 8-bit controller, which I use all the time. So I remember when that was coming out, everybody's like, no, don't buy the Analog 3D, buy the M64. And in fact, I got like a little teeny peek at it through some shoulders at PAX East.
Oh, really? Okay.
On some TV. Yeah, it didn't look like anything to me at the time. But now I understand. He was smart enough, Lucky, to put out a video doing like a 30-minute teardown of the hardware. His whole thing is, I've made a premium quality, an engineering geek's favorite.
The connections are all gold-plated, and this is the highest standard, and we have three sticks. You can choose whatever gates you want. There's the round gate.
It's an octagonal, or octagonal. Before we got to know him better, sorry to discuss Trump twice in the same video game podcast, but people used to be, he used to do this. This was a Trump impression, okay? All right, folks.
Very loud, very fast. It's very fast like this.
But a much better, it's in the throat.
In the throat.
You have to buy an M64 because this guy, we get along very well. That's much better. The in the throat thing instead of the lips thing. But I guess like when he was younger.
Yeah, it's an older impression.
But it checks out. Anyway, so what's in this thing? It plays your cartridges. You can connect it to HDMI on your TV for your 4K display. One of my favorite features, you can do composite out.
Yeah, there's an analog adapter, so you can do composite. I think you do S-video, like all those ones.
I think that's really cool because let's just pause. The N64 is obviously one of the weirdest systems. Like, why the N64? Why wouldn't he release an HD GameCube? Or why not release, an HD Wii? Actually, would be really kind of sweet and improve it in a lot of ways. But I think it's because the N64 has been elusive. Of course, it was hard to emulate for many, many years, but it takes a powerful computer to emulate.
Even now.
Yeah, even now. And then when you do connect it to a 4K display, I mean, certainly if you took the original system, it would look like absolute dog shit. Like the SNES might stand up okay on a larger TV. I think my feeling on the N64 was the original system with an EverDrive so you can play all the games that are too expensive to buy with a wireless controller connected to our CRT over composite. Like that's the N64 sweet deal. But some people might, it's like, I just don't have an N64 and everyone that I buy is expensive or broken or whatever. So I like that, like, even if you're the CRT guy, this would be a fine solution for you.
Personally, the M64 doesn't really appeal to me because I'm playing on the CRT, but a lot of people don't have CRTs. They're expensive now. Every day they're disappearing. They're dying.
My only thing is I'm like, with the NSO, I mean, I guess maybe if you didn't want a subscription, but like, you're pretty covered for N64. We did a podcast, or I did a podcast with Waiting for Nintendo where we went over what are all of the video games that don't make the top 10s that are still worth playing on the N64, and they exist, but like you get to the bottom of that list kind of quick.
Yeah, usually the bangers are already on the NSO. I mean, the NSO has its own problems. Some people don't like the emulation, or there's like too much input lag. I can see why people wouldn't want to do the NSO, but personally, I don't care. If I wanted some N64 fix, NSO is completely manageable to me.
I don't like those gray black bars on the left and right, or those gradient black. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, I totally appropriated those for my EJ Shorbs.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
The borders there, that's the NSO borders. And I was like, I'm taking them back. I'm taking them back.
I'm quite specific. I'm like, when I'm editing video, if you have a photo that doesn't conform well to 16:9, then put a blurred version of the photo behind it, drop shadow on the primary photo. But if you have a 4:3 video, you know, an old cartoon show or something like that you're cutting in, just make it perfect 4:3, black bars on the left and right, call it a day. That's how it should look, just a fucking square. Those are my personal those are the house standards.
NSO borders for me all the way.
You like them?
No, I mean, I'm ironically putting them on my videos.
But yeah, I mean, you got all your Mario parties and you got all your Banjo-Kazooies. Look, I like the system and everything, but Mario Kart 64, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to like heavily invest in a system that's going to play Beetle Drag Racing or whatever it is. Like, you could probably just emulate that, like, at that rate.
Really, the N64 for me is the Mario 64 Ocarina of Time machine. You know, let's be honest. that's
Wave Race, though, seriously.
Yeah, Wave Race is good. It's in general, I don't play that many racing games.
Well, Wave Race is just such a vibe.
It is, yeah.
There's a lot of N64 games that then went to the Dreamcast. They're like slightly better on the Dreamcast. It's funny how the Dreamcast sat between PS2 and N64.
Was it like Episode 1 Racer or whatever, Pod Racer?
Episode 1 Racer, Hydro Thunder was on both. Like, you could play a decent version of Hydro Thunder on the N64. Yeah, I mean, the library's fun. You can go through, but yeah, your Yoshi's Story and shit, like, you can play all that on the NSO. There's only so deep you can really go. I mean, like, if you could only play 3 games, it'd be Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64. I'm sure people are out there screaming Majora's Mask and Mario Golf or something like that. But
those are fun, yeah. They're fun, but like...
They're on the NSO. I mean, what do you need? Chef's Love Shack? You're going to buy the gold-plated M64 just for Chef's Love Shack? So some features, some hardware features on this thing. As far as I can tell, this is better than the Analog 3D. And it's cheaper. I think it's like $239 and the other one's $289. This thing's not that much more expensive than that Game Boy.
If you get the better screen on the Game Boy, it's $300. You get the like crystal sapphire screen or whatever it is.
And he was big on like you can load other cores and play your NES and have all your fun. So I predict that this is going to become a much bigger thing in the handhelds community now that everybody kind of has their handhelds. He put a big emphasis on like all the hardware is open source, all the tech manuals are open source, and we're going to have a parts shop. You can buy any parts you want. You can trick this fucking N64 out. And I was like, that's cool, but why? I mean, it's going to sit under a TV probably, you know. But I think for handhelds, that's going to be popular. Like if more handhelds do that, like if Iron does that and stuff, people will do it. Swap out the face button. So I want to, because right now you go to Etsy to do all that.
Yeah, you get some 3D printed bullshit.
So he goes, it's thick plastic on this thing, real thick. I have to say, this is true of Game Boy Color, controllers, without exception. I don't like translucent plastic where you can see the guts. I don't like it. It seems like everybody goes for it. It's not my thing.
They always put the LED lights around the control sticks and shit. And then when you have a translucent model, it looks like horse shit. Why do we have LEDs underneath that joystick and it looks like a square instead of a circle? It's dumb.
Yeah, then it's reflecting and you can see what's underneath it too much. I like a nice, opaque colored system and controller and handheld personally, but of course you can buy that, and it looks like the sort of the charcoal gray or the black or whatever is going to be available at GameStop. So GameStop's going to be selling this thing. That's a big plus. Analog's not selling it.
As long as there's a GameStop.
yeah, that's a prerequisite. The GameStop must exist first. But I probably never would have bought my Problematic had I not gone to GameStop.
Yeah, I mean that could be GameStop's future if it has one. Is put some Evercades in there, Evercades and the Problematic, the M64. Hey, maybe 8-bit dough and Analog can put some stuff in there,
Physical media is going to be retro only, or it's going to be boutique only. As I discussed last time when I talked about the Problematic, their prices are out of control. They're selling like a Wii U in there for $200, and I'm like, who's coming into a GameStop and buying a Wii U? But there's only one Wii U and it's overpriced. I don't know. Buy a Chromatic first. Yeah, Reggie from Nintendo tweeted that he liked this thing, and I was like, that's really cool because doesn't it? Even though I guess technically like the patent ran, you can make hardware legally for old stuff. Don't you feel like it's normally, the old Nintendo would have been like, don't acknowledge it. It's a non-Nintendo product that runs Nintendo games. It takes away from the NSO.
Yeah, well, he's a hired gun now. Just don't look at the replies to that tweet. That's all I'm saying.
I did not look at the replies. But you're saying he's not?
No, just it's all the Lucky Palmer stuff basically, like yourself.
Oh, they're all pissed off at Lucky.
And pissed off at Reggie by transitive property.
Yeah. How dare you, Reggie, and your war crimes. So there's the parts store. They put a lot of emphasis on gold-plated connectors to avoid corrosion. Okay, I thought this was awesome. I was like, that's a fucking smart little touch. I do like little touches. And this whole video that Lucky made is about little touches. And he kind of like concludes the video by saying, this has been a whole video about things that like most people don't care about and that the reviewers are not going to acknowledge. And he's like, but we take a lot of pride. And you get the sense. You're like, these guys take pride in the products that they put out. So there's 2 buttons that are on top of the console. One of them is a dial, and you can use it to navigate the menus and press down on it without a controller. So if you wanted to navigate like the cores or the menu options or the display options or whatever, you could do it from the little doodly, which I really appreciate because sometimes you're just kind of out a controller for one reason or another.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of thought put into this stuff. The one thing distracting about this video was that the audio was obviously AI enhanced. I don't know if it was like microphone.
Oh, was it?
His microphone maybe wasn't, or he didn't have a microphone or something, or it was noisy.
The one thing I didn't take pride in was the audio.
Yeah, whenever you like AI enhance audio like too much, it gets kind of like robot-y, tinny. Yeah, it just sounds unnatural. Man, I hear so much of it in my job. So.
Another small feature that we have is this dust cover holder.
But the thing was very interesting. It was almost like, oh, should I get one? Should it? When they posted the link.
Hey, you sold me, damn it, man. I do not need that.
Especially the controller was very interesting because I love the Trident. I don't want to play the N64 without it.
Well, the N64 introduced the concept of 3D, basically. And it was like, well, if it's 3D, then it's going to have an analog control stick. But here's the problem. We're coming from the 2D generation, and you might want to play some of your games 2D. And I learned that some perverts, some nutballs, and Nina admitted it. She's like, that's how I used to play it. They hold it on the left and right, the D-pad configuration, and they stretch their freak thumbs. I don't have nearly long enough of a thumb. All the way to the analog stick and play it that way. And I'm like, so do you lose at all your games? Try that. Show us what that would look like.
Well, the thing is, then you lose. How do you get the Z? I guess you could. Oh wait, so you got your middle finger, and you can put
perverts.
You can put your middle finger on the Z targeting. Then you can kind of do it. You can kind of do it. I would not do this. I would not do this for the record, but you could.
Well, so they're releasing a new Trident that has what are some of the features on it? High precision, no dead zone analog stick. They've got a recessed LNRs, right? So you can kind of rest your fingers on the LNRs more comfortably. Something about the Z button. It seemed to me like the control stick seemed way closer to the center. So maybe if you did want to play it like a freak, you could get to it a little bit more easily.
Oh, maybe.
I thought it was weird though. I was like, no, you want it low.
And you could play with it wired, so you could actually wire it into a real N64. So it could just be a replacement for your N64 controller on a real N64.
And the connector like locks into place, so it's not like kind of a USB-C that can kind of come unseated too easily. I thought this was really cool, even though I actually probably would not like to play it this way. They wanted to get big rumble. So built into this controller is, do you remember when you first got the rumble pack in 1996? It was like,
Starbucks is great. My emperor, I failed you.
no! So they were like, we wanted to give you that kind of, the sorts of things that would numb your hand because it buzzed so hard. I prefer the just slightly immersive rumble that you get in most modern controllers. But
the switch, which just tickles your balls a little. It does.
Yeah, that's all I'm looking for. I have the 8BitDo Pro controller, and I use it on the Switch 2. And I think maybe like the firmware I have loaded is not quite perfect. Sometimes it'll just start buzzing uncontrollably. Like nothing's happening on screen. I'll put it on the table and be like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think my 8BitDo will sometimes just vibrate when nothing's happening.
Yeah, so they widened the Z button. That's what I was looking for. They put a lot of emphasis on, they have this new Bluetooth standard SCI that's like way less latency. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because, I'm probably living with some latency with Bluetooth. But they were like, no, the reason is because you're going to be playing 4-player couch co-op. And that is going to require, if all 4 of you are Bluetooth, then you're probably going to want to make sure it's damn low latency. I was like, that's cool. He kept saying, he was like, if this is going to be the kind of thing that's passed down for generations. And I was like, what do you think the likelihood is? That the M64 is going to be like, my great-grandpapa bought this from Lucky Palmer.
It's going to be sold for $15 at your estate sale.
Yeah, I bought it 2 years ago. I don't really play it. It's in the console right now. So Remember I bought the Problematic, and I'll tell you the number one reason that I don't pick up the Problematic all that often is because it takes double A's and double A's die. Like pretty, you can buy expensive ones or whatever, but I have just the standard Duracell that you buy at like the hardware store. And I'm getting, 3 hours out of it or something like that, cumulative. And with an EverDrive, the EverDrive stops functioning properly when the battery gets low.
Right. It's like, because like
Fuck that.
the Super Nintendo, if like your AC adapter, starts to go, your EverDrive stops working because it doesn't draw enough power.
They sell a Modretro battery pack, battery core or something, but it's been sold out for eons. Can't buy one. He's like, all right, so for your wireless controllers, we sell a battery pack. It comes with a battery pack, but that's for losers. You need to be using double A's because these things become e-waste, and they always, you're just gonna have to throw them out after a while. I'm sitting there going like, what? Double A batteries are not e-waste?
Yeah, if you're just like throwing away like dozens and dozens of batteries, isn't that worse?
I assume what he means is that it's not an environmental concern. Probably wouldn't make missiles if he had environmental concerns. I think probably what he means is that thing will die and you'll have to throw it out. Whereas with double A's, you won't have to worry about your dead battery pack. You'll just keep replacing it with double A's.
So he's including the rechargeable and the pack for double A's, yeah.
Cool looking Trident, but I love the 8BitDo one. I love it very much, and I think it'll probably remain my favorite thing ever for N64 playing. However, it's shit for 2D games. You don't want to be playing 2D games with that thing, so there's no perfect solution.
Yeah, but the amount of times I'm actually using the D-pad, it's not many.
Well, it depends on the game, right? There's WWF No Mercy, not on the NSO, one of the best games. That's like a D-pad game. All the direction, that's all D-pad. If you're playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy, that's a D-pad game.
See, I don't play these games.
I don't play Yoshi's Story. I think maybe that, or maybe the Kirby Shards one is that the D-pad? Who knows?
My hands were always in this configuration. It was never in this configuration.
Well, then, if that was the case for me, then I think like Ocarina of Time on the 8BitDo one would be wonderful. It's perfect. Because really all I want is a pro controller that feels like a pro controller, but with the C buttons. That's all I need.
Color coding and the C buttons. Yeah.
I don't want the Z button underneath. I want the Z button up top where it belongs. Yeah, that's just me. He's big on octagonal gate system. And did I miss anything? Anti-sweat on the controller. You're not going to get too sweaty, and anti-sweat.
Anti-sweat technology.
Yeah, he's big on really concerned about what happens if corrosion, dust, or anything like that gets into the cartridge slot. So the cartridge connector can be closed. It's got an SD card slot. It's got USB-C and HDMI, all open source schematics, like we said. No lifespan limits on the circuit board. So just no fan despite small passive heatsink. It's small too. The unit's small.
Yeah.
A preservationist's N64. And then I think probably one of the more fun things about the Chromatic. Now, I've played a few of the Chromatic games, and they're not great. But the Tetris one is great. But everything I've played has been so-so. Like that British kid who didn't like any of them. I wish I did like them.
I think somebody, if they're in the right state of mind, this might be your thing.
Suppose you had just gotten a blowy and you were in the mood for something new.
Perhaps you just got a lobotomy.
A bit of your brain is not there anymore, and you're willing to try it, I say give it a go.
You're Rosemary Kennedy. Maybe you would like this.
You're allowed to bring it home in a jar, like that episode of The Simpsons, guys. So like and subscribe.
And you don't mind the fact that you can barely see in front of you because of the big sprites and the very small Game Boy resolution, then give this one a go. But
actually, I like that dude's videos because he's another one of those YouTubers that just names the games. Yeah. Just name the game
and touch them and give them to me.
So I can come. Just say it. Say Kirby's Dream Land 2. No, he covers a lot of ROM hacks. And that's why if I were to buy an M64, the EverDrive compatibility is extremely important to me because I would want to play Mario 64 Slideverse and all that shit that I like.
Right.
Yeah, one of the cool things was that they came out with these original games, even though I feel like it didn't really fulfill its promise of good games. The Tetris one is sweet. It looks like they've got Xeno Crisis coming out for this thing, which is the sluttiest game in the indie market.
They will fuck anything that moves.
Is there a console this thing hasn't fucked? It's Smash TV, and it's for every console.
Yes.
Do you remember our friend Dario? He had it on the Evercade. I remember he completed that whole game. I was like, how? How are you that skilled? That's crazy. Like, I've played that game for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I can't, this is not playable.
Did you see there's like a newer, the Evercade Nexus? It's the bigger one.
Yeah, I think Metal Jesus talked about it. Maybe tell me more about it.
Yeah, he was touching it and saying the games and, and whatever.
Blessing it.
Blessing it.
Metal blessing it.
I don't know. It's just, it looks like just a bigger one with a bigger screen and stuff like that. But and they just announced Doom, so you can play Doom on the Evercade. And there's a special Doom version of the Evercade with Doom colors, and there's only gonna be 3,000 of them, so they're gonna get scalped like hell. But yeah, novelties.
Wasn't there some first-person shooter that they showed in this demonstration for the M64?
Yeah, there was something. It looked very Doom looking.
Xibalba, Xibalba 64.
It didn't look very good to me, but that's just me.
Worth a shot.
And maybe if you're the kind of person who might like a Doom clone.
Guys, I know it. By all accounts, it's not going to be good. But maybe it's for you and not for me. I love it. I love when a YouTube reviewer hedges that hard, or they're like, but you're not the same human being. So anything's possible here.
This is like have to explain opinions.
Now, you might not think the same thing I thought. It's totally true, though. I mean, if you care about negative comments, don't be expressing opinions. They're not acceptable.
People don't like them. They're stinky.
You get downright tormented for your opinion. Fuck you and your top 10 N64 games. I feel like I haven't seen a video in a long time where somebody did a top 10 favorite game consoles, and the comments were actually all that mad about it. But I feel like every time I do watch, Retro Bird's top 10 or something, he's like, now before you grab your pitchforks and your torches and you try to kill me, here, have a nanner. I got my bread clip collection. That dude's hilarious. But his videos are very like deck chairs on the Titanic. He just rearranges. That's the grift, man. Like, you just take the same 10 things.
Yeah, like Scott's stash or whatever, He's always rearranging those things, making the same topics, but somehow they're new.
And who's the bigger master at this than Sega Lord X himself, the Lord himself?
Oh my goodness. He's my captain, my captain.
The Lord, Metal Jesus and Sega Lord, all these religious figures in our lives that play video games. Our pastoral staff on YouTube. Any other Jesus-y sounding names in the retro video game community? So they're releasing also a mascot flying around game called Buck Bumble.
Yeah, that's a re-release. So that was originally on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I mean, it looked very of the era. I was like, wow, somebody really studied the N64. But
Yeah,
okay.
that's because I believe that's a re-release. Because I remember that game growing up.
I know the trailer had like some kind of reggaeton.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumble. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumble.
Anyway, I won't buy it. I didn't buy the last one. I'm not going to buy this one. I feel like I've got my Ein Odin 2, which I bought 2 years ago, and it very satisfactorily does N64. And I got the N64 itself. Maybe I really want to chill out and play some N64. It's going to be at the retro station for sure. I love that retro station.
Yeah, you really can't beat that. The jank is meant to be on a CRT, and that's the way it looks.
Sometimes the colors look a little fucked up. I feel like I need a light mod on my N64. I feel like the colors are like on that particular system. It could be the AV switcher that it's connected to, but all the other systems look really solid. But that one, it's like they're oversaturated. Like the reds are too hot or something.
Yeah, you could try, especially on your Panasonic, is get an S-video cable.
Can you do that on the N64?
Yeah, N64 has native S-video, and you have S-video on there. Go to Insurrection Industries, get their S-video cable. It's like the best.
Maybe I'll do that.
And my N64 is RGB modded, but I did a test between S-video and RGB. I think the S-video looks a little better. So
I've got this sofa chair in that Legacy setup. I love nothing more than like turn off the lights, turn on the CRT, but that's not good enough. Being in a pitch dark room with the CRT glow, I think can be a little bit kind of disorienting, especially at our very advanced age. I have a lamp right behind me. Just click the lamp on.
Oh yeah.
So now you got a halo effect. I've got 3-point lighting in this room, and I can play 6 minutes of Super C.
I mean, when I stream on my CRT, and it's delightful. I look forward to streaming just for playing on that thing.
I do have an intention to buy that little PS1, for $100 or whatever, if I can mod it. If it's now, we went to Analog Fest and we were like, oh yeah, they don't have the tech to mod this yet. Now apparently they have the tech.
Yeah, it was just released as we're editing that thing, I think. So
right. Yeah, like I could have maybe put in a reference, but hey, sometimes it's like don't take the thunder from the comments. Like sometimes like the people like to tell you something too.
Yeah, that's true. Educate you.
You don't need to preempt every comment. If these are going to be relatively positive comments, like go ahead, say your shit.
If you're a total loser who cares more about convenience than e-waste, you can use this rechargeable battery pack.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.